Hello guys, welcome to Jamaican chapter, and I'm coming to you from Savanna-La-Mar in the parish of Westmoreland. I've been to Savanna-La-Mar before, but it was just a drive-through. It's like any other town, pretty much busy. You know, today is what today is? I don't even remember. I'm just joking. Today is a Tuesday, and you by now you would see the description and the thumbnail, the description and the video, so you know where I'm heading to. I'm actually walking in the town of Savanna-La-Mar right now, and the sun is hot. I have my umbrella, but I'm not gonna be using it yet. So the thing about Jamaica is that we are dark-skinned people, brown skin, whatever you want to call it. We can stand the sun. We can stand the sun. Yeah. So this KFC in Savanna-La-Mar. And I'm heading down a street now. I'm not familiar with the names of the street, so I keep looking out to see. I think I'm not sure what street I'm on. They have the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and it says 18 and a quarter Louis Street. Louis Street. So I am on Louis Street. Everything here is so typical. So typical. You know, I don't see anything like that let me say, oh, this town look a little different. I could just stand here and I think I'm in Black River. And then you go on another street and you think you're in Mandeville. But it's Savanna-La-Mar, and I am walking to the cemetery that I'm heading to today. So now I know I'm on Louis Street. Look at that building. Yeah. I haven't done a video. I wanted to do a video last week, but the weather, because many of you know my last video, the video I did before this, I was in the cemetery, and I was just reading in the rain. I was to come down here from last week, but when I woke up the morning to come, I mean, it was raining. It was raining. And I said to myself, I'm not gonna read another cemetery in the rain. But I did like it. I like it. You know. When I was under the umbrella and the rain was falling and I was reading the graves, it was so romantic. It was so romantic. But I still said I'm not gonna go out in the rain. You know, you don't want to catch up. I don't want to catch up cold or something, you know. But today is hot. The sky is not that cloudy. So yeah, it's fair weather to read some into the history of generations that passed before. Because the truth is, where can you find such history? Where can you find such history? No, the cemeteries, whether it's family plots, whether it's church graveyard in a church, whether it's a cemetery, there's so much history there. That's where you find the generations before. You ain't gonna find them in a market. You ain't gonna find them. You can find them on websites, but the cemetery holds people who were once around. You know, people who were once around and walking around. They are in the cemetery. So you want to know generations before, check the cemetery. And cemeteries. So I'm heading now to Tate Cemetery. Yes. I decided I'm not gonna because since I've been doing this series, visiting cemeteries, since I've been doing this series, I've been heading into the east. You know, like St. Catherine, Kingston, Mandeville. So I said to myself, I'm going to west this time. And I chose to go Tate Cemetery. Never been there before. I saw a photograph, several photographs. And I said, all right, I am heading there. Yeah. So let's see what history we will dig into as we enter Tate Cemetery. It's probably a good walk from here. I don't know how long I'll be walking. So I'm gonna end the recording now and start again as soon as I see the cemetery in sight. All right, so I have reached my destination. I am at Tate Cemetery. And over on the other side, we'll see St. George's Memorial Park. And over there is another cemetery. A much more clean looking cemetery. And that's where you'll find Dowley's funeral home. So there's a cemetery over there. That's not my focus, but I think I might have to go over there. It looks very interesting to learn some history over there. But on this side is where I'm going. Tate Cemetery. I have not done a research as to why it was called Tate Cemetery. There's hardly any much information I could find. But it's available on Google Map. So this is it. Tate Cemetery. Here in Savanna-La-Mar, Westmoreland. The minute I look over here, I can see it's an old cemetery. It's an old Cemetery. The breeze is cool over here. I'm passing graves which I could start reading, but I want to go down deeper in this cemetery. The memory of this individual has collapsed. Well, I'm now an expert when it comes to walking in old cemeteries. I definitely know how to carry myself around so that I don't fall into anything. And that all is a huge cemetery also. Huge. There is a school nearby. You can hear the children's voice, the future generations. And then I'm standing among the older generations. So here I am at almost the middle. I don't think I'm in the middle. I don't think I'm in the middle. I can't open my umbrella because the breeze. So here I am at the grave of, it says, in loving memory of a dear husband, father, and grandfather, Michael Samuel Brown, born May 8, 1917, died August 20. Michael Samuel Brown was a stores controller. He was living at Grove Gardens, Savanna-La-Mar, Westmoreland. He died from myocardial infarction. That is a heart attack. He died age 64. 1981. So 1917 to 1981. That's the grave of Michael Samuel Brown. And here we are at the grave of what's this? One of the letter here is rubbed out. So I don't know what was that? Rabel. I can't figure that out, but it's a vassal. Some of the things are rubbed out there. Say born 1918, died the 15th of the 1, 1980. May her soul rest in peace. So it's a lady. I can't make out the first name. Here we are at the grave of. I like when the sun is the other way because my shadow is in the way now. But it says Neville M. Segri, and he was called Stunner. The nickname Stunner. Born the 4th of the 12th, 1909. died the 22 of the 3, 1981. So that's Neville M. Segre. According to his death registration form, Neville's surname is Signer. He was living in Grange Hill, Westmoreland. He was an auctioneer by profession. He died from cancer. I've never heard that last name before. I've never heard that last name before at all. And we're at this one. And it says, sacred to the memory of Ida Mae Bravo, Daisy. She was called Daisy. Died November 6, 1980. She was 57 years old. That's Ida Mae Bravo. And that's the thing about old graves, is that over time graves fall apart. Oh my God, this grave, I'm looking at this grave and they look like they throw a dead dog in here. I don't know if I can show this on my channel, but I'm gonna swift around. There's a dead dog right there. I can't show, I have to be careful now. But there's a dead dog they threw down in there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my God, the smell. The smell is horrible. This person, you can see they had put a grill around his or her grave. The smell of the dead dog down in that grave make me, and let me see if I can read it. It says, in never fading memory of Herbert. Oh. Okay, I gotta go. This one is falling apart also. It's falling apart, but I can read it here. It says, in loving memory of Sylvia Lolita Cope, September 11, 1891 to October 1, 1981. So she was like what? She was like 90 years old. Sylvia Cope was living at 90 High Street, Black River, St. Elizabeth. She died age 90 from breast cancer. According to her death registration form, the cancer was in her left breast. Then it spread to other parts of her body. Wow, she was born in the Victorian era and she died in this Elizabethan era. Her grave is now a ruin, all broken up. All broken up. Oh my God, the smell of that dead dog. Here we have one all buried up, but the head part is still up. It says, in loving memory of Mistress Charlton Adina Smith, May 19, 1958. Her name is Charlotte Adina Smith. She was living at 40 Hudson Street, Savanna-La-Mar. She died from breast cancer and she was 85 years old. And of her sister, Ruth Adelaide Foote, June 8, 1960. Ruth Adelaide Foote was a clerk. She died at age 83 from cardiac failure. At the time of her death, she was living at 40 Hudson Street, Savanna-La-Mar, Westmoreland. Oh my gosh. The smell of that dead dog they threw in down into the grave, man. I have to take myself away. This is what happens when trees are in cemeteries. It breaks up the graves. You can see here this big tree. What is this? What kind of tree is this? It's like a maca tree. That's what we call it in Jamaica. Maca tree. Huh? Hold on. No. Actually just reading. Just reading graves. Yeah. Alright, so a guy he wanna assist me in finding something, but I just tell him I'm just reading. I see this when I go to like Dovecot. These guys are very helpful. They'll walk in the sun and help you to find what you're looking for. Well, one thing I'm sure, if anybody is looking for any of these people who are buried here, it's a big waste of time because their graves are all broken up. This one looked like it had some kind of head part that you could read, or maybe they prepared it to build a head part, but they didn't bother to build it. I don't know what the case is. It's an old cemetery. It's an old cemetery. But what happens to old cemeteries? What happened to old cemeteries? You know, okay. These are two people buried here. It says, in loving memory of a dear daughter, Daisy Hayes. Daisy Hayes. That's Haase. Died the 10th of the 12th, 1953. Age 12. Oh my God, she died young. According to her death registration form, Daisy Hayes, who was only age 12, died from a fractured skull. She died at the public hospital in Savanna-La-Mar. I did not find any information regarding what fractured her skull. It's a 12-year-old girl in 1953. And over here, on the other side, it says, sacred to the memory of a dear mother, Mistress Rosetta Samuels, died the 2 of the 3, 1958, age 80. Rosetta Samuels was living in Savanna-La-Mar. She died from cerebral thrombosis. That is a blood clot in her brain. I don't think she is the mother of the little 12-year-old. I don't think so. Because if you died 5 years after a 12-year-old girl and you are 80, then it means that the girl, I don't think so. Maybe it's like granddaughter and grandmom, you know. Wow. I don't know why people build the graves standing on the ground. That's why they break up. Look at this one. That is why they break up. Because you build them standing on the ground. Graves are supposed to be down in the ground. Well, this one was down in the ground, but look at it anyway. History is falling apart. These gravestones, I noticed this headstone, they last longer. Say, in loving memory of Gladys Honey, beloved wife of Frank L. Williams, died March 5, 1953. Age, what's that? Age 57. So he was 57 years old. I mean, she was 57 years old. Gladys Honey died March 5, 1953. Tate Cemetery here in Savanna-La-Mar, Westmoreland, parish of Westmoreland. I'm looking at this from afar and I said to myself, it was put together so nicely and now it's all lost here. Almost forgotten here under the shrubs in this bush. Can I read what it says? Says, in loving memory of Herbert Austin Goldson, born September 22, 1902, died March 24, 1954. So that's Herbert Austin Goldson. Herbert Goldson was a farmer living in Savanna-La-Mar. According to his death registration form, he had a combination of illnesses: hypertension, hemiplegia. But under this culture, I was reading this grave and I found out that this here is the grave of the wife of Herbert Austin Goldson. She's buried right here, but it's so difficult to access her grave. So she's Violet Lehoney Goldson, widow of Herbert Austin Goldson, born September. She was born in September 1909 and she died on August 1st, 1973. So this is the wife of Herbert Austin Goldson. Her name is Violet Goldson, died in 1973. These look like the people who died in the 1950s buried over here. I have my wipes. I have my wipes. This is what happened when you bury someone without writing, you know. Look at this. There's absolutely nothing on it for... Oh yeah, there's a writing, but it's like they're just marketing it. I can't even figure out what it is. Oh my God. I'm gonna stay from underneath the trees because I was just being itched up a while ago. Itched up, I don't know what it is. I'm itching now. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You can see over here get a little brushed out. Oh my gosh. Some big mosquitoes. The mosquito was so big it wasn't even making an effort to get off me before I squash it. You can see some fresh graves all over there. All the way over there. I'm gonna go over there. All the way over there. Let's see. I'm gonna... Wow. I can see some stylish graves. I can see some stylish graves as I'm getting closer to this design here. Here we're looking at the grave of... Says, in loving... No, that's not what it is. Yeah, in loving memory of Hortense E. What's that? Clutching? Clutching? Oh no, she was called Dina. She died the 25th of April 1979. Beloved mother and friend of so many. Hortense Clacken was living in the community of Cave in Westmoreland. She became senile and died age 81 from cardiac failure. For she loved so much. And they quote Luke 7 verse 47. Hortense Clacken. Sometimes I don't think it's my spelling that's bad. It's just that some surnames are just difficult to pronounce. So difficult to pronounce. There's some graveyard, the chambers. Two chambers are here. I have the grave here of, says, in never fading memory of Mistress Albertina Chambers. So that's Albertina C. Chambers, died February 3, 1968. Albertina Chambers had gangrene of the left foot. She died age 76 at the Savanna-La-Mar Public Hospital. All right, Mistress Albertina C. Chambers. Let me see. Over here says, in never fading memory of Robert E. Chambers, died 19th of February, no, sorry, died 19th January 1967. Robert Chambers was a businessman living in Savanna-La-Mar. He died from congestive cardiac failure. That's just 1 year before Miss Albertina over there. And he died at age 90. So that's Robert E. Chambers. Died 1967 at age 90. He could have easily been the father of Albertina, as well as it could be her husband. And beside him is another 90-year-old again. And here we have the grave of, in never fading memory of Mistress Jemima. That's Jemima. So that's Jemima. No, Jemima. No, Jemima, right? So Mistress Jemima K. Garden died the 5th. That's the January 5, 1968. Sometimes I just say it my own way. Jemima Kezia Garden was living in Savanna-La-Mar. In her old age, she became senile. She died from bronchopneumonia. She was 90 years old. 90. That's a long life, Mistress Jemima Garden. Long life. Oh. And here we have in loving memory of our beloved mother, Rosa Webster, died January 12, 1966, age 72. Rosa Webster was living in Savanna-La-Mar. She had worked as a domestic helper. She had diabetes. Alright, so here we have so this mausoleum, I still can't pronounce that name. Mausoleum, I looked at it first, and it belongs to the Hamati family. The Hamati family. It's nice inside. I see some wasps. And if I can show you here, let me find the camera. a hole for the camera. And so there it is. They have even pictures on the wall. You can see there the Hamati family. I'm going to read one, though you might not be able to see it the way I'm saying it. But here is one here. Okay, let me read this one over here. It says, sacred to the memory of Norman Patrick Hamati, who died on the 15th of December 1965, age 24. He was young. He died just age 24. Norman Patrick Hamati was born on March 20, 1941 in Kingston, Jamaica, to father Munir Hamati, founder of M.N. Hamati and Company, and mother Tatiana Hamati. He attended Monroe College in St. Elizabeth, but was soon moved to Jamaica College. He later went into cane farming. He got married to a woman called Angela, and the couple had a son called Brian Hamati. Everything was looking good for Norman Hamati until December of 1965, when an ulcer developed in his body and perforated his pancreas. He was flown out of Jamaica to Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, USA. He died there after surgery on December 15, 1965. His body was flown back to Jamaica, and his funeral was held on December 25, 1965, Christmas Day. Hundreds of persons attended his funeral. This mausoleum was built just after his burial. From, because every time you come to a cemetery and you see someone that young, you know in yourself that's not normal. It's not normal to die that young. It's not normal to die that young. So you have to die from something, right? Something tragic. And here we are at the resting place of Basil Cuthbert Sylvester. So Basil Sylvester died the 14th of February 1964. Father, in thy gracious keeping, leave we thy servant sleeping. That's what they wrote on his grave. That's Basil Sylvester, died February 14, 1964. And beside him is another Sylvester. And it says, in loving memory of Irene Amida Sylvester. Where is the date of birth? I don't see nothing there. They just say Irene Amida Sylvester. Ah, that's strange. I've never seen they build such a nice headstone and then just leave out the date of death. It's important. It's important. I wonder why they did that. And here's another grave here. It says, in loving memory of our dear mother, Mary Atkinson, died the 17th of July 1966, age 55. And below that they say, may her soul rest in peace. Okay, she's been resting here from 1966. Mary Atkinson was living at 55 Hudson Street, Savanna-La-Mar. According to her death registration form, she had purpura and gallstones. May her soul rest in peace. Okay, she's been resting here from 1966 at just age 55. You know, sometimes I see people celebrating birthdays for individuals who have died. Come on. She over there that I just read, who died at age 55, she will never be 56. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, today is someone's birthday of Bob Marley, and they're like 80 this and 70 that. No. Bob died was 36 years old. That's what he is. This grave is literally falling apart. Literally. So let me keep it up by reading it. Okay, see, I'm standing on it. This thing can easily collapse. But I'm gonna see if I can find out who this is. Oh my God, this piece of it is broken off, but it's a Eunice. Born July 13, 1945, died April 4, 1993. Oh, piece of the name broken off. That would be nice to keep her memory up. And you see what they use? They use those pieces of zinc to build it. Now it's falling apart. It was cheap work. Cheap work. And that is why everything fell apart like that. Oh, such a simple name to read. You must be a very nice guy when you were alive. I think so. I just think so. If somebody knows this person who I'm gonna read, leave a comment and tell me what he was like. It says, in loving memory of our dear son, Keith Smith. Ah, such an easy name to read. Keith Smith. Born the 26th of February 1949, departed this life departed this life the 13th April 1968, sadly missed by E. Jameson. Okay, so you were born in 1949 and you died in 1968. How old? Keith Smith was a clerk and he was living at 70 Asquith Street, Jonestown, St. Andrew. On the day that he lost his life, he was traveling in the back of a taxi cab with £4,000 in a bag. The money belonged to his boss, and Keith was simply taking it to a bank. On the way, two robbers pounced on the taxi cab and demanded the money. Keith Smith refused, and he was fatally shot. The two robbers were later caught, arrested, and charged. They were Lindell Grant and Leslie Hewitt. Both men were found guilty in the Home Circuit Court and sentenced to death on June 28, 1970. But things took a turn when the lawyers for the two men appealed the verdict. The appeal was successful, in which the death sentences were squashed and set aside. To the disappointment of Keith Smith, family and friends, the new verdict was manslaughter, and this new sentence was only 18 years in prison at hard labor. I want you to look again at the headstone of Keith Smith. Near the bottom it says, sadly missed by E. Jemison. Who was E. Jemison? E. Jemison, whose full name is Ernest Jemison, was the employer for Keith Smith, and it was his money that Keith Smith was carrying and defending when he lost his life. So apparently, Ernest Jemison sponsored the headstone of the employee who lost his life defending his money. Oh, a lot of broken graves, man. But you know, over here is a lot better looking than some cemeteries I've been to. Primarily, Tate Cemetery, which is my most popular cemetery video. You know, because Tate Cemetery is famous. I doubt many of you ever heard about Tate Cemetery. I'm leaving it now. Let me take one more look around. All that you see there, that's Tate Cemetery here in Savanna-La-Mar, Westmoreland. An old cemetery. An old cemetery. And then across the road there, you have Dowley's Funeral Home, which I showed you in the beginning. And over here is called over the other side is St. George's Memorial Park. If anybody recommends. So entering St. George's Memorial Park, which is on the other side from Tate Cemetery. It's clean over here. It's beautiful over here. Look at that. Wow. Because there's an active business over here. It looks like it's full. I'm not sure. It looks like it is full. This person died just really. It's Unica Christine Wedderburn, 1949 to 2020. I'm not gonna go any further. I'm just gonna show you. This is it. And as I say, it's an active business over here. I have a feeling somebody's gonna ask me what do I want. And probably not. Sometimes your mind is, oh my God, they're looking at me. They're looking at me. I'm just gonna act as if I don't see them. So guys, I'm not gonna get any further. Okay, so this is St. George's Memorial Park here in in Savanna-La-Mar, and I'm heading right back through the gate. My focus was Tate Cemetery. I saw it on I saw it on the internet, and I said I have to go and check it out. It's the old cemetery here in Savanna-La-Mar. All right, let's take another walk through Savanna-La-Mar to end this video. I'm not gonna end it here. I'm gonna go into the town of Savanna-La-Mar and take a tour through the town, and then we can come to an end of this video.
Conference at the AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston this week. He said the merger comes to demonstrate the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal.
Yeah, sure. All right. Just taking a walk through Savanna-La-Mar or Savanna-La-Mar. I can smell the sea. I don't know. That kind of breeze I'm smelling right now is definitely the sea, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure what street I'm on, but I just need to get something here from Savanna-La-Mar. I don't know where this street leads to, but let's take a walk here through Savanna-La-Mar. Look at the sign up there. It says Savanna-La-Mar Commercial Center. Savanna-La-Mar Commercial Center.
Pretty old and cat pretty.
Jamaican chapter. There's a little boy, he asked me, what's the name of the channel? Said Jamaican chapter. The thing about nowadays is that YouTubing, oh my God, that's the first time I'm saying something like that. YouTubing. I'm giving a verb to the word YouTube now. But people know YouTubers when they see them on the street. So he knows. Passing a church.